this morning?
Pretty good. Nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you too. And it's morning where you are, right? Where are you?
It's 11,
Okay.
so a little
You're on
early.
West Coast time. I'm on East Coast time. I have no idea what time of day it is or what day it is at all anymore.
It's hard to keep track.
It is. So how are you doing there? What do things look like where you are?
Well, it feels like kind of spring, summer has finally arrived. It's been very slow to get going here. We had a really cold, like March and early April. And it's only the last couple of days where it's really warming up and really feels like spring and early summer. So it's kind of nice that it's warming up now and the sky is blue. So it feels nice. Makes me want to go outside and take walks and stuff, which is good. Need to do that. I know I'm not getting enough exercise for sure. That's the big downside of this. I'm like, Phil's losing weight because I'm cooking and I'm gaining weight because I'm cooking. So it's like not really fair.
Yeah. And you're in Sacramento still?
I'm in Sacramento. Well, actually, technically I'm in Davis. I'm not at my house. I'm at Phil's house. So I'm sheltering in place with him to keep him company because he'd be all alone otherwise.
Nice.
And so my daughter and her boyfriend are taking care of the house in Sacramento.
What does the lockdown look like where you are?
People are pretty good. I mean, it's people for the most part are behaving properly. Davis is probably a little better than a lot of areas because it's a university town. People tend to be a little more on top of information, factual stuff. It's a big science town with the university, so it's pretty intelligent population. So people are behaving very well here. You see people out going for walks and stuff. It's so far I've seen very good behavior at the grocery stores. They only let in so many people at a time and they make you 6 feet apart on the sidewalk waiting to go in, and everyone needs to wear a mask, when they're out in public, out and about, which is good. I mean, I think that the more we can do to protect people is really what it gets down to. We need to protect everybody who's vulnerable and stuff. So,
how are you coping personally? It's been 5 or 6 weeks now. I have no idea.
Yeah, we're starting week 6 because I just wrote about this in my blog. I was all day yesterday writing this big long blog post about mask making and was thinking, how many weeks has it been? And since California started, we are now entering week 6 as of today or yesterday. And although we were a week or two ahead of that because we had just come back from New York. So we had come back from New Zealand, home 5-6 days, and then got on a plane to New York City for a commitment for Phil, which was, we were very nervous about going. And we kept thinking, is she going to cancel? Is they going to cancel? And they didn't cancel. So we went, and we're just super careful the whole time we were there. But as soon as we got back, we were just like, we quarantined ourselves immediately because we were in New York City, which we didn't realize it would get anywhere near as bad as it is now. I mean, it's just horrific what's going on there. So we sheltered in place immediately. So we're, a week and a half ahead of the rest of California. So we've been like, probably 8 weeks. But, I don't really mind it because I from being a self-employed teacher for the most part, I already do spend a lot of time at home working on my stuff, except for when I'd be traveling, which now is like, the rest of the year, forget it. We're not going anywhere. So in that way, that's changed. But I'm actually kind of a homebody aside from travel. So I don't really mind being at home because there's 1,000 things I want to do. And I've been so busy for the last 10 years, just constantly, oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to burn more thermoplasmins. I got to prepare for this class. I got to book my flight. There's been so much stuff that I feel like I haven't been able to relax. I swear I haven't read a book in like 10 years. like I listen to a lot of books because I can do that while I'm doing other things.
Mhm.
But I'm like physically reading a book and it feels so good.
I
Like,
think
oh my
people,
God, because I never felt like I could take the luxury of time to read. I felt guilty about it because
I
there's
think
always
the
so
same
many other
thing.
things you have to do.
Exactly. I think people don't understand or aren't aware of the things that happen before you go to teach.
Oh
Like
my
for
God.
every day I teach, I have a full day of packing and list making. There is all the contract, the communication back and forth. If you do kits, there's a ton of
Oh,
kits. I have
that
to
could be
order supplies and
so
have
much
them
fun.
shipped.
Yeah, exactly. Ordering the supplies. What are you going to take in your suitcase? What are you going to ship to the place you're going?
Uh-huh.
And then how is that going to, are you going to have time to like tear the fabric before the class starts? Or, you know, or are we going to do that in class beforehand? Or there's like so many logistics to keep
Right.
track of that it's just, I don't
Yeah.
know, it's stressful. I mean, the teaching part, the day of teaching is a piece of freaking cake. I mean, that's the easy part. That's the fun part.
I
That's
know. Every time I get in the classroom, it's like, I can't believe I get paid to do this. And before, the whole week before, it's like, there's not enough money in the world to pay me to do this.
exactly,
But then you
exactly.
get there.
Exactly. It's all the other work that no one realizing, oh, they get paid so much. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? We're like working for minimum wage if we're lucky at, you know, while we're home. And then we're spending, you know, a full day of travel, sleep exhaustion. You're in a new place, you don't sleep well. It's just, you know,
Yeah.
it
And
is what it
with
is,
all
but we do
that,
it because we love it. And
exactly, with all that is still the best job in the
right.
world. I still love it.
Right.
It's
Yeah, I
just
love teaching, whether it's with
awesome.
adults or now my college kids. I love being with them and teaching them whole
So you've
different
been working
things.
on with college kids? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so my daughter, well, both my kids went to Sacramento City College, and then my son went on to Berkeley. So since we've been there like 7 years now, they've both been through there. My daughter's taking classes, and then she got involved with 3D printing, 3D technology, computer graphics stuff.
Mhm.
And someone was saying, oh, you should go in the makerspace and print out that design on the 3D printer. So she started going in there and printing out stuff using their printers. And then, you know, she got a job in there. They're like, you need to work for us. So then she got a job and she'd be using this 54-inch digital printer and she'd be printing out
Mhm.
stickers and bringing them home and all this cool stuff. I'm like, I want to do that. I want access to that equipment. So she's like, you should get a job in there, Mom. You should do workshops or something. So she had been talking me up to the boss, and I came in, talked to him, and he's like, yeah, come in and do workshops twice a week in the afternoons. Do workshops with the kids. And so I'm like, sure. So in between teaching gigs, I would just go in and do workshops, and basically I could just teach them whatever I wanted. You know, I taught them some of the stuff that I do with my students now,
Mhm.
except that it has to be much simpler, you know, a shorter, one small segment of the kind of stuff that
Right.
I teach. We're going to do indigo dyeing, and then, you know, then we're going to do shibori, and so it all gets broken down to small. We're going to carve rubber stamps. We're going to print on fabric. We're going to list how you do printing with thermoflex screens.
Cool.
So I break it down to shorter portions and teach it by teach knitting. So I've got a bunch of kids to do knitting. I had more guys than girls learning how to knit this
Uh-huh.
last semester. It was great.
I love that.
So it's been really fun. So now that's my only source of income going forward, because I'm working part-time from home for
Mhm.
them now. So pretty much what I'm working on is what I'm going to be doing next semester. This semester is pretty much shot. So I'm, you know, putting together PDF tutorial kind of information for the kind of things that I've done in the workshops.
Right.
And I'm also working on, like, if we open next fall, if we can go to school, what I want to do with the kids. Then I'll show you like I'm so
Yeah,
excited about this project.
I would love to see it.
So you know, in October, the end of October on Halloween, we have Day of the Dead, which is a Hispanic holiday that coincides with Halloween. That's a way to honor your ancestors and stuff like that. And because a lot of Hispanics in California, and especially the school population of Sac City, is is extremely ethnically diverse,
Mm-hmm.
with a very large Hispanic population. I thought it'd be really fun to do a Day of the Dead themed month where we start off at the beginning of the month learning how to burn a thermofax screen, how to print with them, and print the Day of the Dead skull
Oh, no.
on fabric. And then we would have a month of embroidery.
Oh, how fun. Look at that.
So everyone can do their own Day of the Dead skulls. And so I'll teach, go through this, the different stitches so
Mm-hmm.
that they can design and stitch their Day of the Dead skull. So I'm super excited about that. So I'm like, that could be really fun. So I've always got to come up with, ideas for the year to do. So I'm working on curriculum kind of
Nice.
stuff. So that's one thing I've been working on. And then also mask making for the makerspace, because our makerspace people are doing things like the guys are working on creating those shields for the
Yeah.
hospital workers. So it's like the clear shield with a thing. So it's 3D printed headband, and then cutting with the laser cutter the shields and putting them together. And I think they're going to do like 2,000 of them for our local hospitals and medical workers. So, and I'm working on fabric masks. So I've been making masks for all of our employees and everybody in the makerspace. And because I'm doing that, and I also in the makerspace, I'm in charge of the sewing machines. We have 3 sewing machines. We just got a big floor loom. We also got a digital embroidery machine, 10 spool digital embroidery machine. So someday when I go back, I have to learn how to use that.
Wow.
So I'm very excited about that. So the mask making, I figured I got to teach, we're going to be all needing to wear masks. So I put together a tutorial on making the masks, and I just posted that on my blog today. So the full on tutorial with a link to a PDF to download that has the pattern and the instructions all printed out. So
I'll put a link here.
yeah, so that's one of the other things I've been working on.
Nice.
And I found that to be kind of good in the beginning, because at the beginning of all this, it was really hard to kind of get my mind in a creative mode that I just needed to kind of do. I just couldn't get creative.
Doesn't take. I'm so glad to hear that, because I've talked to so many introverted teachers who are so happy to be at home, and I enjoy time in my studio, but I went nuts. I feel like I'm just like yesterday, for the very first time, I was having ideas again, and it felt so good to have ideas again.
Right. It's starting to happen now for me too, but it took easily the first 3 weeks were just, I needed something that would be repetitive, just mindless kind of thing, with a little bit of thinking about. So knitting became like my thing. So knitting was really super helpful, because you're doing repetitive stuff, so it puts you in that zen-like nature of meditation. But then I was doing cables, so of course it was thinking involved and having to pay attention and stuff. So I've been knitting a sweater that I won't be able to wear till 6 months from now, but I'm doing pretty good. I've got, and I've made a few adjustments on things, so this is where it's at now. So I got
that's such a pretty cable.
The body, I fell in love with the cable when I saw it, because I thought, okay, when it stretches too, it gets really cool.
Wow.
Kind of just, so I got one arm almost done, and then I got to start the other arm, and then I'll be.
I don't want that.
So yeah, and so it's cotton linen, so it's really soft, go right against skin. So that's so that has been a perfect thing for me to do, because just coming up with ideas of like, how do I want to express myself right now? It's like, it's dark, it's not stuff that I feel comfortable going to. So that has been really good to get me into the mode of, at least I'm making something.
Good.
So just like the masks, we're working with fabric, pretty fabrics, and cutting them up and sewing. We're doing something, we're feeling productive. And I think that's the hardest part about this. If you don't feel productive, we don't feel good.
Right.
So the mask making has been really therapeutic as well.
Yeah, that's
So
kind of all I've done until the last couple days is just churning out those things, because you also feel like you're putting some good out in the world. I mean, they're
yeah,
really, really needed.
right.
So you feel like you're doing something at a time when really nobody can do anything except
Right.
stay home. People just stay home.
Yeah, yeah, and I
If
think it's
there's
really
any way you
hard
can.
for some people to do that.
No.
Um, I feel bad for the people who feel like they really have cabin fever and then they're just kind of like chomping at the bit to get out and go do stuff. Because I feel like, man, this is such valuable time. It's like I haven't had time in so long. So to me, it's like, yeah, it's bad in a lot of ways. But you got to look at the good parts too. You got to find the silver linings to everything. Otherwise, you're going to make yourself crazy.
Yeah,
So
that may
I'm
have been
always a
part of
cup
what
half
was going
full.
on. I have all these plans for this year, and maybe now that my brain's coming back, I can get them done. And they're at-home plans. They're projects I need to work on, but I feel like I've
Right.
wasted the whole last month as far as creative time goes. But it's okay. It's okay.
It
Keep
is
telling
okay.
myself, and we tell each other, it's okay. And how lucky we are that we're even able, that we have a choice to stay home.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. I know. It's like I'm so grateful for all the people who are still out there working, who are doing the things that, a lot of us would not want to be in a position of doing.
Right. It's, you find out who really keeps the economy going, or our necessities, our
Yeah.
food growers, our truck drivers, our grocery store workers, all of whom should be paid much more than they are, don't you think?
I do
Just because we
too.
need them. We really, really, really need them.
No, I think we also need to change our thinking about socialism in this country. Because in this country, it got a really bad connotation during the Reagan years,
Yeah,
that it sort of got put on a parallel playing field as like communism or something.
right. But democratic socialism just is,
It-
we choose where to put our money, and when the,
yeah, we pool our resources
yeah,
and we
we
think
take
of
care
things
of
we
each
need: education, roads,
other.
fire stations, police,
Right.
the things that we need to work as a society, to function together.
Yeah.
If everyone's healthy, then we will all be healthier.
Yeah.
There's
I
so
think
many of
a lot
us.
of us are realizing that it's really expensive to have poverty. I mean, it
Absolutely.
really is. It's so much more expensive to um, take care of a really, really sick person who hasn't had access to health care than
Right.
it would be to have access to health care for everybody. I mean,
Right.
it's okay. It's good. Um, what are you looking forward to most when this is over? What one thing, or what is a thing that um, you miss or appreciate, or if all of this was erased, what would be the thing that you gain the most appreciation for?
Well, I think the one thing Phil and I were talking the other day about wanting to do is like just get in the car and go on a long drive
Mhm.
someplace and just go stay over, like just imagine driving up the coast in Northern California and go stay for a weekend.
Mhm.
Like that would be so nice. Like I miss being able to just get in the car and go drive someplace else, because I like going places
Yeah, me
and,
too.
and seeing things and taking photos of things, because it's all inspiration to me.
Yeah.
Um, I'm really sad that I can't go to Australia this summer, which
No,
was my
no.
plan. I had this huge teaching trip to Australia.
Oh,
So that all got canceled, of course. So next year, though, it's on the schedule next year. As long as we're in a better situation, I'll have a pretty huge trip to Australia, because I made a lot of commitments. A lot of people asked me to come teach this year, and I'm like, no, I can't do any more next year. So everything's got shoved over to next year. So
Next year might be
I could,
insane.
I could be down there a long time. So, so stuff like that, you know, I'm looking forward to that because it's like I love going down under, you know, just
Not,
like you do. It's like we're both like totally in love with New Zealand. Especially.
yeah. I encourage everybody to go to your blog. I've been reliving, well, actually, you went to a lot of places that I never got to go to. I did. I spent the majority of my time on the South Island, and it looks like you spent most of your time on the North Island.
Yeah, I've done very little in the South Island. And after Christchurch 2 years ago, we went over the West Coast and then went up the West Coast up to Nelson. And then over and did more in the North Island.
Yeah. Yeah, well, next time.
And this time too, all of my teaching gigs were all in the North Island. I only had one in Christchurch. So it's like I flew directly to Christchurch, got that out of the way, and then just did the North Island, and then went to a lot of places on the North Island. So I keep saying, like, Phil and I were like, next time.
That's the trouble with visiting New Zealand is you go and it's like, there's just too much.
Oh my
God, and it's so much bigger than you think. So you're just really making lists of what you want to do next time you go. And I don't think there will ever not be a next time, right?
I know. I want to just keep going. I would, if life could be perfect, however, you know, to me, it'd be like 6 months in the States, 6 months in New Zealand. Yeah. And I would just keep exploring, you know, each time I went.
Yeah, that would be amazing and lovely. Well, our time is up. I really, really, really appreciate your taking time, and it's always wonderful to see your face and to virtually be in your presence. Here's my big hug to you.
Yeah, big hug back. I know. It's like you're my favorite roommate when we teach places together.
We have.
It's always so
People
nice.
only knew what quilt teachers did after class. We have so much fun. We just enjoy each other's company. Quilt teachers are my favorite people. And then quilters, you know, like I said, best job ever, right?
I know. I hope we all get to hug each other again.
We will.
Because that's just like, I need to hug my friends.
I think that's what I'm going to do. When all this is wiped entirely away, that's when we're all vaccinated, I'm going to be a hugging machine. You better watch out, everybody. All right. Well, it's been lovely to talk to you. Mwah. Love you. Thank you. See you.
See you.